You are watching AYV Television.
Right, indeed.
Good morning, Jones. How are you?
Quite fine. How are you?
I'm good, good. It's been a while.
Oh, yes.
On Wake Up Sierra Leone
That's
specifically.
it. Glad you specified. It's been a while. You came on set.
Yeah,
So welcome back.
thank you. So, there's just so much happening basically in Sierra Leone, and one of which has to do with the issue of the fuel, price being just a little adjustments
Adjusted
being made,
yesterday.
and the news making rounds. I'm yet to clarify it that there is this shortage as well
Fuel?
of fuel. Yes. So people are being very skeptical about how to go about moving around in order to not misuse the fuel. But I really think the adjustment that was made isn't quite,
Significant.
understand. Yeah, or significant enough.
Well, you know, it's a process.
Mm.
You know, I
So particular about process,
It's a process,
and
yeah.
small or baby steps.
I believe it's a step in the right direction. At least there was a reduction. That's the most significant thing. From 28.5, I was 30 also.
To 28 years.
Yes, 28.5. Now it's 28. I'm sure maybe by the end of this month we'll have gone to 27. Who knows? You know, well,
Okay.
we're slowly dropping, so that's a good thing. Everyone can now drive. But in any case, yesterday night I passed around Lumley roundabout. So this is particularly so for I worship the mayor and her guys at the Freedom City Council. Now you see, government is everyone's responsibility. A lot of the time, citizens like to talk about their rights. Now, there are similarly obligations that you owe to the state. Yesterday, I saw piles of garbage on the roundabout itself, the structure. That place has been slowly transformed into a garbage ground, and the stench that is oozing out from that place is very unpleasant. It's a major route to the beach, which is one of our touristic, places in the country. That needs to be addressed, expeditiously. It's very indecent. You know, Dirty business not fine. If you know, say you don't sweep on side, if you get side for 2 just get it in a bag of plastic, but tie them there. The one they were responsible for pass round for can pick them up, they go good. But that style day where people and get quickly don't turn place dirty box. That dirty business stand there, we all have a responsibility to clean this country. A lot of times people are for criticize government, hey, but I need do well. You say get responsibility. You understand? I mean, it starts from the home. Dirty business not fine in any way. People like in toxic, you can say, say dirty, they good angel,
Good
they
angel,
can
not
be,
it can
So
be.
now we learn for the clean. You understand? We'll take dirty, you don't sweep side, you sell, you make money. You go turn another place where they and the roundabout, newly constructed place. So you can be proud of. You go to a dirty day. Also dirty box down there. I'm not sure the city council ever said, not even once, that place should be, a dumping site. And it's not only that. I'm talking about both roundabouts. The one adjacent to the filling station and the one close to the market square at Lumley. Both roundabouts have been totally almost destroyed.
I mean, those might be the specific areas that you've seen, but in different areas and places, people and don't they get these habits, where they clear their house, then just they go put dirty in a street, and I not really think it's a really good idea.
Indecency.
And more so when they pass along, the beach, the stench, where they
Yes.
come out
You know.
from that place. I mean, this is not good even for the tourism sector, because
Indeed.
the beach are one of the most touristic sites and we look plenty people can come and we can always talk about.
Indeed.
So I think it's high time they try to curtail or know the specific issue where they make where they get these consistent seaweeds and people and just if you see the plastics,
But there are a lot of issues
it's just
actually.
so much,
But
so much. But again, I don't want to blame. As much as we would want to pin it on the mayor and FCC, just like you're saying, it's a collective
everyone's
responsibility.
You
When
cannot
you go
just
on a beach, you're doing
sweep your
something, not
garbage and
just
toss it anywhere. No,
exactly my
it's
point.
indecent. But yeah, I understand there could be an argument. So one might say, "Oh no, you have no dumping sites in the country." Even Bombay they say don't full up. And there's, I think, one of our, our reporters, it was Issa, who did a story on that. The Bombay place, now that Eastern place, they don't full up and even dirty, they cannot take.
That has always been the case.
Maybe this get for do small, but about a collective decision we government will never make, for find another place for begin to way dirty. But all of the sites then we've been dating, they be the two dirty, they don't clear them off. One be they don't King Tongue yonder, the day again, you understand? Now I don't that place they will say the mayor make that fecal sludge. So I think that even use the dirty now for transform into some kind of good and call. Yeah, that's a good initiative. But I feel say we need forget another big place that this country, just like we bomb a day, people will get place for go to dirty. Maybe person go argue say we not get any place for to dirty, and Lumley now a whole hub. It's a business hub of the country. Before now, when they talk about PZ, it's in Zokonis. Now, people, the business we do now, Lumley even pass PZ now.
Telling
It's
you,
it's
that
a
place
whole
is congested.
it's a whole community of business people flocking together
I
to
mean,
barter and trade goods.
You can't even
On a daily
be
basis.
happy walking through Lumley at night.
Oh yeah,
You can't be happy. You have to think of your safety. You have to think about a lot of things. I don't know how these people tend to go about it using those specific area points as marketplace or business place. I just think say there's a lot of sensitization that needs to be done in
indeed.
terms of knowing fully well. Again, and one base I'm on the fact say
Dirty box
places
no
and all
dey.
day dirty box
But
no
we dirty,
day.
yes, I understand.
It's
But
unbearable.
anyways,
But
yeah.
it
I
is
mean,
what it is, and I'm sure the
see,
necessary
I also
authorities will
believe say
address
yes,
it.
the mayor they watch, or if you're not really the watch, people
Yeah.
in the way they work, they watch and giving the government, you understand, they look whosoever responsible, we don't know, know yourself, let try for find where would they arrange this.
All right. Well, away from our daily banter, good morning to all the viewers and listeners from across the globe. This is your number one breakfast show, Wake Up Sierra Leone, here on AYV TV on channel 33, Ready 101.7 FM, and on BSTV channel 399.
Today is Tuesday, apparently the third day of September in the year 2024. My name is Victor Jones.
And I am Marina Terry. We encourage your feedback and your input in this two-part conversation through our AYV News Facebook page.
Indeed, as usual, please feel free to share your thoughts with us through comments or questions to our Facebook page, AYV News. Before we begin the program, let's take a quick message from our sponsors, OK Commercial Bank, and other advertisers. Shall be back.
Rocal SIM Copper Plus is an electronic mobile banking application which connects customers to their respective bank accounts through their mobile phones. With Rocal SIM Copper, you can do cash withdrawal, cash deposit, pay for goods, balance inquiry, transfer from RC bank account to another bank account, utility bills payment, buy airtime for GSM phone, request foreign exchange transactions. It is an application that can be used at any time and anywhere within the confines of Sierra Leone, thereby creating 24 hours access to your account. Rocal Commercial Bank, the bank of choice.
Don't go where transfer charges chop off a chunk of what you're sending. With no Sonko, you can send money for free with AfriMoney any day, anytime, no matter the amount. Dial *161*1# now to send money for free with no charges. AfriMoney, no Sonko.
Feels good to see your face again. It's been a very crazy day. The joyous feeling in the air when rain falls on a sunny day. Happy, yeah. Let the stars, let the roll.
Enjoy life's little pleasures with Maltina. Maltina. Share happiness.
This is a different kind of energy. That's gang energy. With malt, ginseng, and vitamins. To recharge and take charge. Zag Energy Drink with malt. That's our kind of energy.
All right, welcome back. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone on AYV television and again, you're in Freetown, Sierra Leone.
Coming up on the program this morning, the Deputy Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Maru Napoleon Koroma, will be speaking on the Diamond Area Community Development Fund that has just been launched over the weekend and its benefits to citizens.
And we're going to discuss the role of teachers in improving the learning environment in the country as a Teaching Service Commission sets to award teachers on World Teachers Day.
Before we begin our discussions here in the studio this morning, let's first check out the weather forecast in Freetown and other major cities across Africa.
All right, welcome back. You're still watching Wake Up Sierra Leone on AYV television and listening to us on AYV radio 101.7 FM. Now into our first segment, teachers play an essential role in education, most especially in the lives of the students they teach in the classroom. Generally, the role of a teacher in education goes beyond teaching. In today's world, teaching has different phases, and a teacher has to carry out the part of being an external parent, counselor, mentor, role model. But over the years, the teaching profession, many believe, has not been able to live up to the expectation. So this morning, to delve into all of that, we have Sylvester Mew, who is the chairman, Association of Retired Principals, and Jemmy Victoria Sanko, Public Relation Officer, Teaching Service Commission. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
For obvious reasons, I would love to start off with you, Mr. Mew. For someone who has been in the educational sector for a very while, and with your knowledge of experience, how would you assess the role of the educational system, in your time and in present, being the fact that you were once a principal as well?
Thank you very much. I want to say, first of all, thank you. The concerns you have demonstrated about inviting someone in the education sector to come and talk about what is happening in the education sector. Number one, I want to commend the government for the free quality education in which many people who should have dropped out of school are now going to school because they don't pay fees. When I was chairman of Conference of Principals, when you have pupils in the private schools, when they don't pay, they take them to Parliament to see the accounts committee. But now there's nothing like that because the pupils do not pay fees. But there are a lot of other successes. The provision of teaching and learning materials for the pupils is also a big success. And even the Teacher Excellence Award, that is also a success. I will tell you, I even recommended that thing many, many years. But even now they are observing that World Teachers Day, the 5th of October. I have never been invited. Even though I spent 40 years in the teaching field. I borrowed those things from Ghana. They have a World Teachers Day in Ghana. And I will show them even how they are getting money. In Sierra Leone, it's the government that is spending. In Ghana, they have all those things. So when I usually go on WAEC issues, I go and find out how they are getting all of this money. I brought that suggestion here. It was not taken, but later on I saw they arranged it. But even when you are forming committees, let them have people who are seasoned teachers. I have spent 40 years. Apart from Lashite, who was in the grammar school, I don't see anyone who has even spent so much time in Freetown in the school system. And I also rose to the rank of chairman of the Conference of Principals. There are a lot of decisions they are taking which is challenging the education sector. Number one, the suspension of those 6 principals is a serious issue. I'm telling you, some of the pupils this year will have to go and find private schools, even when they have good marks, and some of those pupils who sat for some of these grade A schools and their parents will transfer them to private schools. Even when the spaces are available, the principal will say, we don't want any embarrassment, you understand? And the other thing which is very bad they did, to form a committee to be part of the interview panel. So I wonder if they are going to form committee at the Ministry of Finance where they are signing checks. Let us look at the checks they are signing. When they are running workshops at the Teaching Service Commission, the amount they are paying to those who are preparing the food and all, whether they'll be doing that. Then another thing which we did not like as Association of Retired Principals, the 2023 Education Act. It gave a lot of work to proprietors. We studied the 1964 Education Act. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. But now it is the opposite. Even the principal that was involved in this thing, one of the proprietors said to extend the suspension of the principal to show you the amount. There are a lot of problems we have envisaged as retired principals. We discussed it, and the things have started. For example, someone who has been acting in a school, a female who has been in that school for 18 years, who has been acting. What happened? When they advertised the position, the first statement that, oh, she is not part of that religious body. Let us go and find our own person. That's a big problem because of that Education Act. Then they brought in a number of people. And when you go to board meetings, you have to pay sitting fee. And I'm telling you the amount they are giving the school. Up till now, they have not paid even the subsidy for third term. And I'm telling you, not a single school, I normally run workshop for them. Right now for me, I am supposed to be at a workshop in a private school. Last Friday and Thursday, I was at Wamagrislo running workshop. 2 or 3 on Thursday, I'll be at Romans. They have called, there is no government school that has even said they are going to run a workshop because subsidy has not been paid.
Mr. Mio, I'd like to hold you there before my colleague comes in. There seems to be a lot of challenges within the educational sector, more specifically so with teachers. But what can you say in terms of assessing the extensive experience that these teachers brings into the classroom? I mean, your vastly experience. I mean, how can you be able to assess, in your days and now, how is, the teachers, performing in terms of teaching these students?
I don't think there's much they are doing now. Number one, you have a lot of teachers who are not on the payroll. And when they go to the school, they collect money from the pupils. They call it Operation Pay Yourself. When they go and conduct exams, I am the only roaming inspector for WAEC. I worked in Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, all. So when you go around the schools, you will hear them. The teacher said, I should come with this when I'm coming in the morning. Last year, we had the highest number of exam malpractice, in which results 35,520 results were withheld by WAEC. You can confirm those information. We've never had that. I work in IFAC, International Final Awards Committee meeting. We meet in Ghana and all. Sierra Leone used to have the least exam malpractice. But now I think we have the highest. Because we have a lot of teachers who are not on the payroll. What allowance do they give them? Some schools give them 250 loans. 250 loans is not even enough to use the worker fine bus before you can see how will that person get something to eat. Also, as I said, there's a lot of teachers who are not on the payroll. Some, even when pupils present their assignments very late, they say they should come with the mommy aid when they carry his assignment. Those things are not even good. Teaching and learning is not taking place. I told you they have not paid subsidy. And the subsidy they started paying from 2018 is the same amount. And the prices of papers has tripled. The exchange rate has tripled. So it is a big challenge in running a school. And now they have gone to include more people in the school board. They have to pay them sitting fee. They have to arrange for refreshment. It's a big problem we are having. Even the Ministry of Education, even the Teaching Service Commission, they need to bring in some seasoned people. We were able to succeed those days. For you even to work at the Ministry of Education, you must have been a principal or vice principal or head teacher somewhere even in the provinces before you are brought into the Ministry of Education. The days of Georgiana Ed, Oredola Fury, Simeon Barnacadi Labor, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Saliu Mohammed Kamara. All of these people, they have gone to work with the wealth of experience. The Creole has a saying, you know, you put money in a house, you don't know how to cook soup. They brought in a lot of people, even in the teaching service, you need seasoned people, people who have served as principals or vice principals. They will complement the effort of government for us to have this quality education the government is asking for.
Jimmy, let me bring you in a while.
Yep.
You've listened to Mr. Mew speak. Concerns are quite inundating. What are your views?
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, Mr. Mew. First and foremost, I would like to say, as I listened to Mr. Mew speak, I want to say, well, I can understand Mr. Mew is now retired. But I was just taking my mind back to say most of the things he's referring to are things that, yes, used to obtain before now. And I wish, well, first and foremost, Mr. Mew, now that you expressed the fact that you've not been invited, that is noted. We'll ensure to invite you for this year's Best Teachers Award. Because, of course, we have room for experienced educationists on the panels. To be honest, I want to highlight that, of course, the sector had been challenged before this time, but I want everyone to know that we have lot and lot of successes that we can boast of now. And a lot of things, there are so many things we can point to say, indeed, we can see improvement in the sector. For example, Mr. Mew is talking about lots of teachers are not on the payroll. I can tell you here that we have over 38,000 teachers on the payroll, which before now, that's not what we can hear about. Yes, you can confirm that. We publish the payroll every month on the Teaching Service Commission website. Between 2018 to 2023, as I speak, we have recruited over 10,000 teachers. As I speak now, we're in the process of recruiting 4,000 teachers for this year, this academic year alone. So recruitment of teachers alone, which in the past, before 2018, had been a super challenge in the country, that's one big success we should be proud of as a country. Because now, since 2018, every year, you see, we recruit, we adequately replace teachers that have retired, that are retiring, teachers that are leaving the profession, teachers that are, well, maybe deceased during the course of service. We adequately replace them every year as a commission. And these are just few of the successes. Like he's saying, it's been very long. The teachers, especially through the Sierra Teachers Union, have been advocating for an award that acknowledges teachers, that celebrates teachers. And we can all attest to the fact that this has only been actualized during this regime, like in the past 3 years, because this year now we are planning to host the 4th edition of the National Best Teachers Award. That is one thing we should be proud of as a nation. When we talk about professionalism in the classroom, before this time, when you talk about teaching, me talking to you, I'm a trained and qualified teacher. So I know I have had teaching experience for over 10 years. I may not have been like 40 years as Mr. Mew. Maybe by the time I get as old as him, I would be counting more than 40 years. Yes. But teaching, I would say, has improved a lot because some of the things the commission has been empowered to do are all geared towards professionalizing the institution. For example, we introduced the teacher licensing, which is For me, that is a laudable move for a country like Sierra Leone, like joining other developed countries to ensure that we ascertain the professionalism of our teachers. Now we're doing, last week, there was a public notice that was released by the Teaching Service Commission. We're doing recruitment of teachers. And one of the things that we have made a criteria for recruitment for teachers, you must have been a registered teacher. You must have attempted the license exam and made a pass grade of at least 50%. So now when we talk about the teacher licensing, it's not because we want to say you did not go to a better training institution, but because we want to test your professionalism. So for me as a commission, I believe we're doing a lot. And over the past 5 to 6 years, we have done a lot. There's a lot of things that we can like be proud of, to say transformation is indeed taking place in the classroom and within the education sector.
No doubt there are transformations, of course, visible.
Yeah, visible transformation. Thank you very much.
Well, let's discuss specifics a bit. Now, there is the free quality school education program ongoing in Sierra Leone. Consistently, for the last 5 to 6 years, Sierra Leone has been recording record-breaking, passes in Wassce, and Becker exams. Now, however, even with those passes, the mass communication faculty, for instance, at Fabi College, where I studied, records disheartening number of failures in English language, for instance, on a yearly basis, from pupils who had scored A's in their English exams. Would you say there is quality in the midst of such astronomical failures?
Well, I would say yes, there's quality. We're working on quality. And as you were saying this, I will tell you before now, it used to be worse than what's obtained now. It used to be worse. And yes, there are challenges, but one thing I would want to focus on is the fact that we can see that the change is visible. We're moving from one point. We have moved from one point to another. Yes, there are changes, but frantic efforts are being made to ensure that the quality is being. So, for example, let me highlight this one thing. During 2019, there was an early grade reading and math assessment that was done in Sierra Leone. And the assessment showed by then that most of our kids, when it comes to literacy level, there are between 2 to 4 steps, 4 grades back. That will mean you see a grade 6 child whose literacy level is at maybe grade 4 or level 4 or level 3. That was what obtained in the country by then. And what happened was the fact that after that particular result, the result of that particular assessment informed the education sector plan of the country, which is now being rolled out. And one of the things we are focusing on as a ministry is improving on learning. As I speak, the teaching, Mr. Mew was making reference, was saying no government school is calling workshops for their teachers. Of course, I know he's talking about school-based CPD. But when it comes to national CPD, as I speak, the Teaching Service Commission is conducting trainings for primary 1 teachers, and we're targeting about 10,000 teachers across the country from all 16 districts. For me, that's one big stride we're taking towards improving quality. Because when I talk about quality, now this particular training is focused on capacitating these teachers to be able to teach the kids to ensure that their literacy levels are actually at the level they're supposed to be. So that will mean by the time a kid has completed grade 1, that child should be able to read, not just cram, but read, not just memorize, but to read, understand, and be able to write what they're reading.
Mr. Mew, would you like to come in? Just sorry. I noticed you've been nodding your head.
Yes.
I don't know
Because
if it's agreement or disagreement.
we have been talking about more recruitment. Don't we have more pupils? Because of the free quality education, we have more pupils. We don't have enough teachers in the schools. Go and check every school, even the schools next door to AYV. They will tell you they have a lot of teachers who are not on the payroll. Also, as I said, there are more problems in the school. The teachers do not teach. They go on operation pay yourself. Some even give children to mark registers now because they are so discouraged about not having, and I have been talking to them, you understand? And even the school boards, let us professionals. As I said, I worked in Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia. When they want to make a school board, they will ensure professionalism. As I said, when you have the experience, quickly, I'm not a journalist. Immediately you hear me speak, you can analyze it quickly because you are a journalist. But the education sector has a lot of problems. The problems, as I said, a lot of teachers are not on the payrolls. On the payroll, we have many examination malpractice in many schools. We are going around the schools, which was not so. If you want to go and check at WAEC, they will tell you, I can give you an analysis. I work at IFAC, International Final Awards Committee. When they look at malpractice, used to have, now we have one of the highest. Because many teachers, as I said, are not on the payroll. If you say you are bringing more pupils to school through free quality education, you need to double the number of teachers you are recruiting. Telling me about 3,000, 4,000. Another country that started, Uganda, to 2025, they are going to recruit 52,000 teachers because they said they're having free education and more pupils will be going to school. We have more pupils in the school, that is correct. But ask the parents the problems they are having in the school. Ask the community. My own best friends are children. Some will come to you early in the morning. Mr. Mew, teachers who are the good tomorrow for KDC, you understand? Even to go and collect results now, which was not the case, they have to take money when they are going to collect results.
Okay. Let me usher in Jeremy again. There are concerns. And
Of course.
as you've heard from Mr. Mew. Before we speak on the concerns and some of the initiatives that the Teaching Service Commission has implemented in terms of enhancing or improving the teaching sector in Sierra Leone, I'd want to have your view, specifically so on this year's NPSC results. There are a lot of concerns regarding, the results. I mean, there's quality education or free quality education. We're not denying the fact, but this year's results tends to be very bad, if I'll put it that way, as compared to the previous, NPSC results. There are a lot of pupils with aggregates 280 or 282, to be specific. What would you have to say regarding that?
Well, I really have little to say about the NPSC results. Majorly not because I do not want to say, but because I really have not taken my time to study this year's results and compare as you guys may have done. But like you rightly said, there are challenges, and as a country, the best we can do is to learn from our challenges and look at where the loopholes are and address those challenges. And I'm sure definitely the ministry has plans. Even if not plans, the ministry, I'm very sure, is definitely going back to the board with all stakeholders to see how we can look at what are the major causes of these challenges or of this year's performance. As I speak to you, I also have a son. My oldest son sat to the NPSC, and I must say he didn't get what we were expecting. And there have been questions. And definitely as a sector, we'll go back to look at those questions and try to profile answers to those questions.
Okay, so how has the Teaching Service Commission, been contributing in terms of improving the concerns of teachers, and ensuring that they, give out the very best in terms of quality education in Sierra Leone?
Of course, one thing that is unique about the Teaching Service Commission's operations in the country is the fact that we work together with our constituents. We don't just work for them, we work with them. On the board of the Teaching Service Commission, like our commissioners, the Sierra Leone Teachers Union sits on the board. One would say, okay, CPSS, NACOTS, they all form part of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. But the president of the CPSS also sits on the board. The president of the of NACOTS also sits on the board. So major decisions that we take as a commission, these bodies are also contributing members to those decisions. We have I would say we have a very good relationship because I will tell you, we recently just finalized our bargaining agreement, and that one had been gazetted. So when it comes to looking at their welfare, we have a very good relationship because we have a forum where we sit together and we bargain what they want and what we as employers can provide. And that is the reason why we have the recently concluded bargaining agreement that states out, because when they make their demands, as employers, the employers body, we come together, sit down, and we have, we've had fruitful engagements that have led to this. So I want to believe, like I said, I have been a teacher in this country, and all my life, because my parents have been teachers. My late father was a teacher. My mother has been a teacher. She retired 2022. So all my life, I would say I have been within the sector. And when it comes to teachers' remuneration in the country, I know what the state has been raised by teachers. And I would say now the teachers themselves will say, there is this success because we know we have this institution. When the TSC wasn't there, it was difficult somehow for the teachers to have this kind, of course, Mr. Mew can attest to that, this kind of engagement that they do get now. Because now that the Teaching Service Commission is there, that is wholly and solely responsible for the human resource management of teachers, then now they have this confidence that we have a body that stands as intermediary for us and that we can engage with.
Now, okay.
Quickly before Victor comes in, just out of curiosity, because Mr. Mew mentioned about teachers not actually doing their roles and responsibility within school. Does the Teaching Service Commission monitor these schools to ensure that the teachers are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Of course, yes, we do monitor our schools. One thing that is good is the fact that in every district, we have a Teaching Service Commission office. So we're not just based in Freetown. And we don't just operate in silos in these districts. We have education sector committees in every district. And we work together with these committees that are made up of personnel from the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, the local councils, and other bodies like organizations that work to promote education in the country. For example, we're working with Mott McDonald's Lewy Land project with the Tangerine to ensure that is one instrument that we use to monitor teachers in the classroom. We also work together with the school quality assurance officers that the ministry, of course, we have those also in every district. And we work together with these structures to ensure that because of the monitoring we do, I would say every month, of course, they have their schedules, by district, how they do these monitorings. We're able to fish out like ghost teachers. I will not say like, maybe let's say teachers that have left the before this time. This is not a thing. Teachers will leave and you find out their salaries are still running. But now, because of the frequent monitoring that we do, those are being picked up on monthly basis. And because we receive these reports every month at the head office, I am privy to these reports and some of the actions that are being taken because of the monitoring that they do.
Jamie, let's discuss another very disturbing thing that is happening in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Now, it's a good thing that you hail from a teaching family.
Of course.
And you've been in the teaching profession for quite a while. Now, you see, the thing is, there is free quality education. I come back to that, yeah? But we've been seeing that there is endemic corruption within the academic system in the country. From the classrooms, where teachers would ask their pupils to bring monies to accompany the assignment, to accompany their report cards, from teachers who take monies for tests that are written in class, to the Wassce, which is now a coordinated and tactical cabal of, thieves, quote unquote, who are wrecking the nation through, these illegal kinds of, things, extorting money from students or candidates who are writing the Wassce. Now, consistently, I would tell you that I have an aunt who stopped at the O levels, but can speak impressively well, using the English language. And now you compare that woman to a lot of, MA graduates and PhD graduates in this country. The difference, you understand, is, from here to Waterloo by foot, you understand? So the thing is, even though you are arguing that these teachers are being paid, they are on the payroll, the quality is a bit extricated from the process. And that is perhaps few of the reasons why, is because of corruption. Don't you see this?
Of course, it's nice we're getting them now. We're getting these reports now. It's nice that I want to believe for the fact that we're getting these reports, it's because a bit of work is being done to ebb these malpractices. That is why we're getting this report. For example, when Mr. Mew was talking, he talked about the suspension of 6 principals in quote and unquote grade A schools in Freetown. We see this is, I will say, is evident of the fact that we're committed to looking into these issues as and when they are brought to the attention of the authorities. We are seeing corrupt practices during the Wassce exams being exposed, because when they are reported to the authorities take action to ensure that they're being exposed. If actions are not being taken to ensure that they're being exposed, then we wouldn't be hearing about them, which means they have been happening. We haven't been hearing about them because actions were not taken for them to be exposed. Now that actions are being taken for them to be exposed, that is why we're hearing about them. Like we had initially established, there are challenges. And one thing that is good is the fact that structures are being put in place to address these challenges. For example, we're talking about corrupt practices with the teachers. Teachers asking for monies from pupils. These are allegations that we are hearing. But I will tell you here that when they come as complaints to the Teaching Service Commission, actions are being taken on a monthly basis. That's why we have a grievance redress mechanism. We of course will take out time to popularize that in the country. Let people know that you can always report. And these reports, because they do not fall on deaf ears, you can always report, and you are assured that the Teaching Service Commission will take adequate action when these reports are made. People, well, Mr. Mew and some other principals are complaining, well, why were these principals suspended? But again, I would say, if these reports had come, investigations had been made, and the findings were there, and no actions were taken, you would also say the Teaching Service Commission is not serious about eradicating corruption. I'll tell you, Mr. Mew is talking now, oh, some of these people, but that single action has gone a long way in ensuring that during enrollments, corrupt practices are limited.
Mr.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mew, you've listened to Jami.
I want to round up before I leave.
Yes,
Okay.
But I will share experiences.
Before you do, Mr. Mew, please, just before you answer that, do you think, what visible ways do you see as a seasoned, educationist and professional? What ways do you see how best Sierra Leone can tackle the issues of corruption, malpractice, you understand, in the education system? Do you see a clear way out here, and how can we arrive at that?
We can have a clear way. I did course with the British Council,
Okay.
the Commonwealth Secretariat, and one person who attracted me most was a man called Musazi. He wrote even a book, Introduction to Education and Administration in Africa. At times, as leader, you really be very sympathetic with them. For you to be a good leader, you must have willing followers. A leader must know the way, he must show the way, and must go the way. Even when they are arranging some of these things in the Teaching Service Commission, if they give somebody the assignment, he or she will only invite his relations and friends to be part of it. I am telling you, check Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia. The Association of Retired Principals, they are part of all of these decisions. Creole has a parable which says, "You don't know the pool money in our house, you don't know more soup." Those people who have wealth of experience, in the words of John Dewey, experience and education, it is easier for you to solve a problem. I have a friend who is living in Canada. The friend says, "Mr. Mew, you know what's happening? I have a man here who is about 80 years old. When I have problems, even in the education sector, because of the wealth of his, he said, 1 minute when I ask him, the answer he gives me is perfect. Because you have got the experience. But everything now is just friendly. That is why I will never be a politician. Because even if you have good plans, those who are going to implement it at times will have problems. When they're talking about these teachers principals that were suspended, I was one of those that was invited. We had the meeting at the Ministry of Education. I gave my own opinion because it has even caused disaster in some schools now. When schools open, you learn about it. Because there are divisions now. Even in a particular school, the board that is circulating in the social media, the board is requesting for an extension of the suspension of one of the principals. That they sent to my phone. They say, "Chairman, we have wealth of experience. Look at this letter that has been sent. Look at it." I was very much impressed, really, about the response to the Teaching Service Commission. They sent that also to my phone. All of these things are going on. But one where the mistake came was when you are making the 2023 Education Act, giving more powers, giving them more voting rights, giving even the education secretary another additional space. When you have the fourth space, it is the mission that should take the education secretary being part of the four. Now you don't make a special provision for that. They have additional say. I have told you the problems are coming. I told you about a school, a lady who has been acting. She's not been made a principal because she does not belong to that religious body. And I've told you also about a school where, because the majority of the people are proprietary, they say, who pays the piper dictates the tune. If this is government that is paying, it is the government that should have more representative in the board. If you are recruiting people at the Teaching Service Commission, Ministry of Education, please take some principals, vice principals, head teachers, transfer them to the Ministry of Education and the Teaching Service Commission. Then we can see improvement. Thank you very much. I'm watching. I have a work.
Please, Mr. Mew, quickly before you leave, because we do have some important messages on our Facebook page, which we'll love to take quickly. Yes. But as I'm happy about the fact that there is this association of retired principals, yes. And how can the educators, the retired educators, contribute in terms of improving the current learning environment in Sierra Leone, and also contribute in terms of monitoring, the future generation of teachers?
They don't want us, madam. Danny and I sabi everything. They will not want us because the things they are doing, they don't have even the wealth of experience. They are having committee to look at best teacher awards. Let them tell us whether they have anybody from the association of retired principals. They will bring some people they call civil society or English society to be part of it, you understand? They will bring their friends, they will bring, they say, a professor, a doctor. As that person spend time in the teaching field, primary and secondary, how many years did that person spend? All of these things I am telling you, I worked in Ghana as chief examiner for 30 years. Ask for I worked in Gambia. You say Nanga Defa, you say Jamarek. You say Boy Sentina. I used to be in Nigeria. Even Ebola, I was the one who went to make arrangement for Sierra Leone special exam. When they wanted to go, the minister told them, no, it's Mr. Mew they know in Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, let him go and negotiate for Sierra Leone. I went and negotiated on behalf of Sierra Leone.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm sure Jeremy here will take all the concerns that you've highlighted, and you guys will definitely resolve the little issues that are going on.
Yes. No, we'll be meeting, madam. We'll be talking to them, because if the education, if you want to damage any country, it's the education sector. Once you damage the education sector, everything is over. And we want Sierra Leone. I love Sierra Leone. I cannot be a national of any country except Sierra Leone. I love Sierra Leone.
Very patriotic.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sylvester Mew, for your contribution to the program this morning. He's rushing off to a particular program, but this is Wake Up Sierra Leone on the UIV. We're going to take a few of your messages, but after the short break, you will love to listen to them.
Yes, so maybe we can. Okay, well, let me just
peruse through them. So the first one is from Usman Prince Solomon Kavon. I love him. He's very faithful and honest to say. The same Usman says, nowadays, it is who you know, not what you know.
And also Usman says, what are we doing about civic education and technical learning? How many technical and civic education institutions we have in the country? And Usman again says, due to the fact that we don't have enough teachers on payroll, the quality of learning is not present in schools, institutions. Teachers shouldn't ask students to give them money for anything in school.
Usman again is saying, you're working in the Ministry of Education and you are saying that you haven't looked at the results. Wow. Usman again say, do we have data on how many registered and unregistered school institutions we have in the country? Furthermore, how many registered teachers do we have in the country? How much do we pay secondary, primary, and university lecturers?
Usman again says, if we have a quality control department to monitor school institutions, how comes these malpractice, such as teachers asking students for money? We need to be proactive to investigate issues in school settings. And Eddie Grant says, agree, sir, everything in our beloved country is done through connection. Wherein the qualified will be left, we that are qualified will be left out wallowing.
Prince Salman Kavon again, the heads of these institutions are receiving kickbacks from monies given to the institutions.
And there seem to be a lot of messages coming in now. Then Pat Geek says teacher are now focusing on the money more than the teaching. And Mos D says, why is it that with all the technological advances in terms of our education, it seems we're regressing instead of progressing? Our teachers and students becoming lazy. I'm sure those are the
These
messages.
are a few of the messages. Mr. Would you like to respond to a few of them?
Well, I don't think I need to talk much. They have said it all. The challenges are many. Let them stop the ism at the Ministry Teaching Service Commission. Let them tell me 2 principals who are retired, who have spent so many years in the teaching field, that are made members of the committee that is giving the award. It is those people who should even chair the committee, because they have spent all of those things.
I could tell you that.
Yes.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mrs. Scott is a retired principal, and she sits on the panel for the assessment of the Presidential National Best Teachers Award. Mr. MS Sise, he's also retired, spent length of years in the classroom and length of years with the ministry, and now he's retired, and he also sits on that panel. I could go on and on, but let me just, you said 2. Let me just round up.
Yes. When you serve as chairman of Conference of Principals, the problems in many schools, when you are head of state, there are times I will never be head of state, because the problems, every time you not even have time to sleep, to even rest. The problems I learned. There are schools that even people wanted to close. I will not sleep. I have to go and ensure. Even King Fahad, where they have, I am one of those who moved to ensure that they have that place. They used to have a place where they have Oxford School. And he said, no, we are driving them. We went up to State House as chairman of Conference of Principals. I did it. And we ensured, I went to the Minister of Education, that they have that place they have in our King Fahad. I normally teach there. There was a pupil who said he was beaten by a teacher in a school, not knowing that we are differences between the neighbors and so on. They took the matter to Komon-Tok Hospital. And as chairman of the Conference of Principals, I was invited by them. We said, please, sir, they want to take me teacher go na police. The police was there. When I went to Komon-Tok Hospital, one of my students just saw me and said, Mr. Mew, why are you here? I said, I came on. Oh, it is this year they are telling us to write report that it was the teacher who flogged the child, you understand? They have taken the matter to court. By the time I went to court with the teacher, about 3 or 4 of my students, please, sir, why are you here? I said this. They said, I'm going to represent you. They represented us. After 2 days, the people did not turn up anymore. You understand? If you are seasoned in the field, forget about who. I spent a lot of time, not only as principal, but chairman, Conference of Principals, 30 years as chief examiner, not examiner at WAEC, board member at WAEC, vice chairman, National Board of Education. I was in all of these things. So we have a wealth of experience. When British Council was making workshops, late Mr. Venn, late Mr. Brown, they will say, Mr. Mew, now the young one, please go to that workshop. We don't have even British Council.
Mr. Mew, please let me hold you there, because Jamie is also here to speak.
I can really understand. Now I understand where Mr. Mew is coming from. Granted, Mr. Mew, you did an exceptional work. You did an exceptional job during your tenure as Conference of Principals, chairman of the Conference of Principals. And, at first I thought his concern was the fact that we do not have experienced people involved. But I have highlighted that we have experienced people. And now I see the concern is being shifted to the fact that I can see Mr. Mew's advocacy. And his advocacy is he has done a lot, and he thinks he deserves to be included, to be, to still be included because he's retired but not tired. That is noted, and I'll let the committees or planning committee members
Jamie, briefly,
know that this is your concern.
Briefly before we go, the Best Teachers Awards.
Yes, the Best Teachers Awards. Of course, I would say it's been a success for the past 3 years, and we are set to host the 4th edition on the 5th of October, which is World Teachers Day. And this year, the awards is going to be held in Bowtown, because we've had the past 3 editions were held here in Freetown. And of course, we know Freetown is not just Sierra Leone, and it's a national award for teachers all over the country. We have completed the, I'll say the 2nd phase, which is the nomination. We've completed stakeholders consultations at district level and at national level. After that, we opened the nominations, which ran from the 26th of July to the 29th of July to the 26th of August. And we have closed nominations. After the nominations, we have received about 1,200 nominations from across the country. And one good thing, most times, because our nominations were online, one of the major concerns was, teachers in the hard-to-reach areas will be challenged and they will not be nominated. And the second highest, the district with the second highest was Pujeon district. The district with the 3rd highest was Falaba district. So we see those are 2 extreme districts. Of course, Western area Urban was the district with the highest number of nominations. We have concluded nominations, and we're set to go into the next phase, which is our district level assessment, and that will commence in the next week.
Quickly, as we wrap up, what's the criteria like?
Well, first you have to be a teacher, a trained and qualified teacher, teaching in Sierra Leone and teaching in a public school, which means a government school, a government-assisted school, or a community school. You have to be an exceptional teacher, of course, because your innovations, your contribution to national development will also be assessed. Of course, you have to be, like I said, you have to be an exceptional teacher that goes beyond just what the chalk and the board. And you also have to have been in the profession for at least 5 years. So yeah, that's
all right. Thank you very much, Jami Victory Sankor from the Teaching Service Commission, and also thank you very much, Sylvester Mew, Chairman, Association of Retired Principals. Thanks for being part of the program this morning. I see a lot of people are vouching for you to be the Minister of Education, of which I'm sure you're trying to. Yes, he doesn't want to be exactly.
That's
so.
a political.
All right.
Thank you very much. It's a political assignment.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Program.
You're welcome.
Jacob Sally is going for a short recess, which will be followed by a business update. We shall be back in a jiffy.
Hello there. This is Business Update on AYV TV, and I am Mariama Tommy. Our focus for today is on the rising cost of school supplies in Sierra Leone and how this is impacting vendors as the school term approaches in a few days. According to the African Development Bank Group, economic growth is projected to improve to 4.7% in 2024 and 5.2% in 2025, driven by the mining sector and the recovery in agriculture, manufacturing, construction, and tourism. Inflation is projected to decline to 33.6% in 2024 and 20.2% in 2025 as external shocks subsidize. As the saying goes, an empty bag cannot stand upright. The cost of education in Sierra Leone is becoming increasingly burdensome. Despite free education initiatives, families still face significant expenses related to their children's schooling, and these costs are reaching alarming levels. The surging prices of basic commodities reflects the country's weak economy, heavy reliance on imports, and inadequate infrastructure. These challenges are placing a significant strain on the people, and further government intervention is needed.
The cost of school items in the market has significantly increased due to the present economic status in the country. AYV brings you the privilege of informing and educating you right through the comfort of your premise. Here are what business people have to say about this.
It's not really easy for me because you know what I expect back to school, not really easy.
It is really not easy for us here. Our expectations for back to school are not encouraging. Parents come to buy and want good things for their children, but complain that there is no money. We find it difficult to earn a living, and our expectations are far from reality. Parents negotiate prices to the least, and we can't sell because we bought the items more than that.
They sell 400, you can't pay 300, you can't pay 200. Why?
For they go back to school, they come. Some other people in the tote market, they go and sell a price.
I am a bookseller here at Garrison Street. When it is time for schools to reopen, we find out that most people come out to sell books and their price varies from ours, and that is not the supposed price. Sales are not made. It is not the same as last year, and customers don't come often.
So the selling not easy, but we thank God we come small.
With inflation continuing to rise, we must ask ourselves, how will the marginalized survive this economic battle? Now let's take a quick look at today's exchange rate, courtesy of the Bank of Sierra Leone. The US dollar buys at 22.43 leones and sells at 22.66 leones. The British pound sterling buys at 29.47 leones and sells at 29.77 leones. The euro buys at 20.83 leones and sells at 25.08 leones. The best way to predict the future is to create it. This is where we draw the curtains down for today's business update on AYV TV. Always trust us to bring you comfort and credibility about all news in businesses. Stay safe till next time. I am Malpractices.
Right, welcome back. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone on the Africa Young Voices television and radio. Do not forget to continue to send your comments on our Facebook page, AYV News. Now, in our final segment this morning, over the weekend, in Kono District, the Deputy Minister of Mines and Minerals Resources and the Ministry of Local Government have launched the Diamond Area Community Development Fund. The fund, many Sierra Leoneans believe, is a novelty as well as a more practical approach in ensuring citizens benefit from their God-given resources. And the project funded with proceeds from the mining activities in the district. So this morning, to talk about the Diamond Area Community Project Development Fund, we've been joined by the Deputy Minister of Mines and Minerals Resources, Umaru Napoleon Kuruma. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Where did this idea come from in the first place?
Thank you very much. The fund of itself is not a novelty. It's the manner in which we are going about it is a novelty. This fund was actually launched in the law was passed in 2002 at the end of the Civil War. We, the late President Ahmed Tijan-Kaba of blessed memory, said that areas where diamonds are mined should benefit from some of the resources we get from the diamonds. That was primarily to take back these funds to this community to help develop them and also to help curb illicit mining that was going on at the end of the Civil War. So legislation was passed wherein money is paid from licensing issued from those diamond areas. Portion of it is being retained by the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, and that portion also, 25% of that 3% royalties paid, is being calculated and given to all communities where diamonds are being mined. It's not only in Kono District. We have some parts in Kenima where diamonds are mined, in Bo where diamonds are mined, in Pujon where diamonds are mined, Kono District, of course, the very historic city or town for diamonds. In all of the chiefdoms here, we have mining activities going on. But there is a caveat. So now, what the president did, what the government did in 2002 was to encourage the local authorities, the paramount chiefs and their section chiefs, to encourage people who are going there to mine to take artisanal license. So the more licenses you help us to get, and the fees we charge from those licensing, these are from the proceeds we give back to you. So if you have your area, people are coming there to mine, and you don't regulate them, you don't encourage them to take licenses, then very little will come to you or nothing. So you realize that some of the years you have some chiefdoms having an increase in the funds they receive, and some of them will have a decrease depending on the license issued. But what was happening when it was law in 2000, the money used to be sent to chiefdom account, and the authorities there would take it and decide to do whatever they want to do with it. In fact, in the words of one of our chiefs, one of the oldest paramount chiefs, when we launched the fund in Kenima, he said clearly, quote unquote, when they used to give us this money, they will not tell us what to do. We'll just do whatever we want to do with it. But then, under the leadership of the current leadership, the Honorable Minister Julius Matai, who is the minister, and myself as deputy minister, we sat down and said, look, President Bill has challenged us. He has said that our minerals should count for our development. People have to benefit from our resources. So now we said to them, these monies are available, we've calculated them. But there is no way we're going to give this money to any chiefdom if you don't design and tell us what you want to do with this money. So in December of last year, I went around, I issued a dummy check to them, all of them checks, and told them that these monies are available for you, but then now go and design a project for us. If you have 100 million, for example, tell us what you want to do with 100 million. Tangible, feasible development. It's not, you're not going to tell us that you want that money to pay salaries, you want that money to buy vehicles for yourself, etc. No. What do you want to do with that money? You want to construct more classroom? Have there been an increase in the school going period in your chiefdom? Do you want to construct more classroom? Do you want to expand your cutlery? Do you want to help build a health center? Do you want to do a culvert between this town and this town? Do you want to build toilets in the village, etc., etc.? So when those projects were designed, they were sent to us. We have a project evaluation unit within the ministry made up of the Ministry of Local Government and now rural development. So they sat down together, we look at all the projects, and some of the projects, majority of them were approved. There were some who did not meet the criteria we set. We did not approve them. So those we approved, basically, we now release the funds into the account. So I went around, I first went to Kenima last week, where I did the launch, and I came to Bo, I did the launch as well, and I did the last one in Kenima Kono 2 days ago, now directing them to say, you have access to the fund, go and implement this project. But it does not stop there alone. The next stage, we have to actually go and monitor again to see whether what they've told us that they're going to use the monies for are actually what they are going to do with these monies.
One will say the initiative is a laudable one, but again, how will this initiative directly impact communities in the mining area, and how will it also benefit citizens in terms of long-term and short-term?
Yeah, thank you very much. Those, I mean, we are all sitting here, but belong to, many of us come from those areas. For example, I have a chiefdom. That's the first level of development. That's what President Bill believes. That the first layer of development starts with those communities. So, for example, in one chiefdom, they told us that they want to construct the town, major towns. They want to bring electricity to the major town. In Kono district, there is a place called Yomandu. Yomandu is in Sando chiefdom, happens to be one of the biggest mining town. But the place is as dark as anything you can imagine at night. They said to themselves that this morning we're going to have solar street light. So that we'll have nightlight activity. At night, we'll have kids coming out to study under the light. We'll have women coming out to sell it to markets, etc., etc. So they're building that. Some communities will tell us that now we don't have even proper toilets in the chiefdom headquarters towns. We don't have visitors. And when the politicians or ministers or presidents visit those areas, they tell them, we don't have water well, we don't have the. But if you have those funds, you can use them to do some of those things, and those things can impact the community, and people can benefit from them. So it's not a one-off thing; it's a gradual process. So every year, with these monies we paid, we've just paid the last year was 2022. We're not doing the calculations for 2023 last year, and also doing the calculation for 2024. So some of the monies will go to some of the projects are actually big projects. What they have will not suffice, but whatever monies they're going to get, they'll continue doing into that project. Some will complete the project they've already designed. So whatever amount they receive again, they will identify another project. So tell me, today, if you build one community center, tomorrow you build a toilet, tomorrow you build a classroom, tomorrow, the other day you're building a community center for people. Those are things that will stand the test of time. They'll always be there. And I told them, most of those local authorities, even the chiefs, that's even good for your own development profile within your own chiefdom. So if you are a paramount chief today in your chiefdom, you receive these monies and put it into good use. You're able to construct bridges between towns and villages. You're able to build infrastructure around the area. When you've gone past, you are no longer there. Your children tomorrow want to become paramount chiefs. The point that when your father was a paramount chief, that was the time A, B, C, D. We are done. Gone as those days when people just say, this was there, we're gonna get. People want to see, visible things. So that's why we encourage them that use these resources. They are resources for you, but want you to put them into development activities. In the past, that's why many people actually talk. This is the first time we're giving it very, very serious visibility in the as the president has directed myself and my honorable minister. This is the first time people are actually hearing so much about it. Because many times some of those monies will go, will just land in the account, and the rest will be story. But we have said to them, not only that, we'll let the public know, and when we're dishing out these monies, we did it publicly, in the presence of media people, Anti-Corruption Commission, Audit Service Commission, the chiefdom people, etc., so that they too can be watchdogs for us. So if you have told us that this is the project, and those projects are on paper, I even I put it out on my social media pages, showing the amount and the project for which these monies are given. So if you come, for example, in a particular chiefdom, you've heard that your chiefdom received this amount of money, by the time you visit your village, you can pass by and see, where is the community center that they said they were building? If you don't see it there, you can draw the attention of the ministry or the minister. The last time they told us you're going to build us a community center, for example, in Swafe. I passed through Swafe, I did not see it. What is happening?
For the purpose of transparency,
Yes.
are the community people really involved in terms of decision making with regards to this initiative?
Yeah, they are involved. The monies that the money go into the chiefdom account. The paramount chief is the signatory to the account. Nothing comes out of that account if he does not sign. And the projects are being designed by the chiefdom people themselves. They work to the local council project unit and people within the local councils. So it was actually their initiative. They decided what they want to do with the money. They know their first needs. I mean, that's the area. This is a real, chance we're taking at development, because they know exactly what they want. It's not also went and said, no, we have to put a bridge here. Maybe that's not what they need. That's not their felt need at that particular moment in time. So we asked them, you design what you need. So they did the design, they filled in the project, and they sent the project to us. We looked at the project, we realized that these are visible and tangible projects, and we released the funds to them. So we believe that whatever they've come up with, because they need it, they will do it, and they will take very good care of it.
So, Minister, how's the mining business?
Well, mining business is going on. President Bill, in his manifesto commitment to the people of Sierra Leone, said he was going to revamp the industry and ensure that our minerals count for our development. Of course, it has its own effect. Mining has its own effect. That has to do with environment and some other thing. So the first thing we did within the industry was in 2000, when President Bill was elected president, he directed the then minister to start the process of reviewing the Mines and Minerals Act. It used to be the Mines and Minerals Act. So we reviewed it and changed it to the Mines and Mineral Development Act. The concept of development was added to it because the president believed that those resources should count for our development. So the first thing was, how best are we going to fight to make the industry attractive and to attract more FDIs, foreign direct investment, into the industry. Mining, presently in Israel, in particular when it comes to the bulk minerals, we need huge capital investment. It's not alluvia. You cannot do alluvia. Iron ore cannot be mined alluvia. Bauxite cannot be mined alluvia. It's not like diamonds or the precious minerals. Even the precious minerals now, we're going for large-scale investment. That's where the actual thing will benefit the country or will benefit the people. So to attract those foreign direct investment into the industry, we needed, first of all, to set up a proper regulatory framework. What is the law? How is the law working? Is the law in line with international best practices? Do they align with the sub-regional practices? Don't forget, it's not only Australians that do have these minerals. We have other countries that do have the same minerals we have, and investors will always look at the regime. What are the regulatory regime? So we revised the law. We looked at the Mines and Minerals Act, and we did the law, and that act came into being. And when we were making that law, we ensured that we took into consideration the benefit that it will bring to our people. We don't own the capital. The capital is coming from the foreign investor. But how do our people benefit for it? I'll give you an example. In the old act, for example, there was what they were paying, what we call community development fund. These community development funds were paid by large-scale mining companies to communities where they were doing large-scale mining. and the percentage was 0.01% of a gross. So for example, if you export 100 million, you pay 0.01%. President Bill said, no, let's start somewhere. So we met with the industry practitioners, we looked at international best practices, and we said, let's increase that amount to 1%. So from 0.01 to 1% of your gross. So if somebody was getting a $1 million export, for example, was getting 1,000 euros, with the 1% now, you're talking about a 10,000. So which is why you've seen over the years, President Bill has made officially launched the community development, and mining companies paid huge sums of money to communities where iron ore is being mined in the Sambaya, Dasongoya, and Kalatumba areas where we are having this iron ore mining. The last time it was about 53 billion or 53 million euros that was being paid by large-scale mining company, Leon Rock, to that community. Those monies are in the account, and these communities are using it for development. And what we're also doing, we're trying to push for large-scale mining investment. We'll be mining diamonds in this country for so many years. Australia is known for diamonds. After the passing of the Australian Trust Fund, SLST, way back colonial days, we had NAMC, they came, they left. We're having little bit of alluvial artisanal mining until Kwedu Holdings, as you know, it came. Now the large-scale mining operation. And we also have Maya, which is coming up as a large-scale mining operation, a company that recently discovered some huge stone during their operation. Those are large-scale mining operations. When you do large-scale mining, you have more resources coming out. You have, as the name implies, large-scale. You have more people being employed, and more royalties is coming to government, and more surface rent is being paid to the people because of the areas you are mining. Those alluvia, today you can dig maybe thousands of holes, very, very deep one. You can only barely find few carats and everything. It takes us nowhere. So we are trying to invest to attract more foreign direct investment. So as I speak to you now, we have 3 large-scale mining companies in diamond, which was never there. We also have a lot of, as of now, when this government came to power, from as I speak to you today, I might be correct, but we have about 23 large-scale mining licenses. What we did as well again was we increased the large-scale mining fees from $500,000 that was being paid by large-scale mining company to $1 million US. So it's $1 million US. If you apply for large-scale mining and the board meets and approves your license, then it's taken to the minister signs the license, you have to pay $1 million into the coffers of Australia. So imagine that was a double 100% increment from 500 to 1,000. These are all geared towards, increasing revenue generation. And also in the act, what did we do? We looked at those mining districts where they are mining. Now, for example, how people benefit, we have communities where the actual minerals are coming, they are benefiting from the community development fund, pay 1% gross on the export. We have the diamond area development fund for where diamonds are being mined, but they are within the same district. But there are some other chiefdoms that will not be benefiting from those resources. They don't have the diamonds directly, but it is within the chiefdom. Whatever effect, environmental effect they're having, it will affect the entire district. So what did we do? In the act, we put what we call the mining district development fund. In this mining district development fund, we said, okay, we are going to retain 20% of the royalties we generate from those monies paid, and that money will go into the fund, and that fund will be used to develop those areas that are not benefiting directly from community development or from those diamond areas community development fund as well. So that one came into being under the act. The act started implementing effectively last year, and we're going to trigger that now with the Ministry of Finance, and we'll set up the fund so that people will also benefit from that.
Let's get a little bit critical. I mean, dealing with a large amount of people can be very difficult sometimes, and now we're talking about different communities. Have you noticed or anticipate any sort of challenges in terms of executing this initiative, and what are some of the strategies that you've put in place to ensure that you have a smooth operation of this initiative?
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, there is nothing you do in life without any challenge. We do face a lot of challenges when it comes to mining, because like I said, it has its own environmental issues. But also what we did in the History Act was to ensure that no license is issued to any company if you don't do your EIA, environmental impact assessment. It was not like that in the past. Now, before you even start talking, you go to the community, you sign a community development agreement with the community to say, this land is where I think minerals will be found. This is a prospect. So you go first to the community, you talk to the community, you tell them that, this area, I'm interested in it. You have those agreements with the community. You come to the EIA, you pay for your EIA license. The EIA will go and do the environmental impact assessment to say that the area you want to mine is free from any environmental hazard. So once that is done, you have that license, you have that community agreement. That's the time you even go to the NMA and start the process. But that notwithstanding, we still have challenges within the community. I mean, individuals who come up to say, we are not benefiting. Individuals come up to say, these people that have come, they are not doing proper corporate social responsibility. So we receive those complaints. Some of them do write letters to the ministry. Some of them even do write letters directly to the office of the president, and those letters are sent to us. So at the NMA, for example, we have the communication and community relations department. We deal with those issues because it's also our duty to protect the investor. Investment protection is also our responsibility because those foreign direct investments are coming. They need to have an enabling environment for them to operate. We don't want to give a license today to a large-scale miner. They start mining today, and the next day there are people jumping with sticks and machetes to attack them. That will not attract anything further. So we get those complaints. We go into the community. We sit down the community people and talk to them. And the ministry as well also, we're working on setting up another directorate that will be dealing with those community affairs. And we'll have the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development because they're dealing with locals. So we'll collaborate a lot. So most of the provisions in the act dealing with those community relations, how we deal with the community, is being done in collaboration with the Ministry of Local Government. It used to be Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development. Now it's Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. So we bring them in board, we work together hand in glove to ensure that we talk to the community people for them to understand that the mining is being done in your community. You benefit from your surface rent, which is being paid to the landowner. You benefit for some of the royalties, but majority of the benefit will have to come to the general coffer in the consolidated fund to benefit the entire country. And if it's benefiting the entire country, it's but our responsibility to ensure that we protect them and work with them. And we also ensure that those mining companies are in full compliance with our regulation. They're in full compliance with their social responsibility. They are in full compliance with environmental protection that has been set out in the EIA assessment. And in the EIA assessment, they do it yearly. So if you do your EIA this year, you tell us that you're going to do A, B, C, D, and by the next assessment, you're not within that line, the EIA can suspend your license. And once that is suspended, you have issues with them. So it behoves you, the miner, or the person operating, to keep within the confines of what has been set out for you in those environmental impact assessments that have been done to you. And we also have mines compliance officers all over the country. We have mines monitors. They go around those mining communities, they look at the mining operations, they ensure that they are in compliance with what we've set out for them in our regulation. If they are not, we get those reports and we go there. And within the ministry as well, part of my responsibility as deputy minister is to interact and interface with this community. So I do a lot of moving around. I visit, on the spot visit, to see, and I listen when I go into these communities. I listen to the miners, I listen to the community. We take up their issues. If they have any issues, they'll bring it back. We'll try as best as possible to bring them together and resolve it. I speak to you by Friday. I'll be in Komon-Tok as well to look at some large-scale mining operation and see how best we can be able to provide support for them to continue their work.
The Deputy Director of Budgets at the Ministry of Finance was here yesterday, before yesterday, and seems to have suggested that not much is being made in the mining sector to the consolidated fund. He suggested that NRA has been, driving in the huge chunk, of what essentially, the ministry is disbursing, to ministries and agencies across the country.
Well, there are several layers of taxes that have been imposed by the NRA or the Ministry of Finance. Like I said, for example, we now have the large-scale mining license. There was a fee of 500,000, and now it's $1 million. So if you have 23 large-scale mining licenses and all of them pay, you know what goes into the coffers. There are other layers of taxes as well. They pay royalties as well, apart from the license fee, which is just the fees you pay for the license. You pay royalties to the government. Yeah, you pay surface rent to the community. They pay their community development fund. Those are all resources coming together. So probably what they're expecting more and more from the ministry. But to say the ministry is not contributing more, well, they are the finance people. I will not argue with them, but probably they are expecting us to do more. But probably another issue is, again, will have to do with the areas of when we are doing the extractive industry agreements with those foreign direct investors. They also do ask for certain stabilization and protection for their investment. So they ask us for us to give them some waivers. And some of these waivers are not done by the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. When it comes to the fiscal regime, when we are negotiating this agreement, the fiscal aspect is being done by the Ministry of Finance. They are the ones that will look at it and say, this is good, we can let go of this, it will not affect us. We only do the technical aspect to realize that they are in line and in tune with our Mines and Mineral Development Act. The fiscal aspect is being done by the Ministry of Finance. So we are having this conversation and we are sitting again with them to see, as we continue giving our large-scale mining license, how do we align our development aspirations with what we are giving out to foreign direct investors. So if they tell us again to say this area of fiscal regime they are asking for to be waived, this area of taxes they're asking to be waived, no, we cannot waive it, it will affect our budget. Then we'll tell the investor and say, no, this one cannot be waived. But it's their responsibility. We do not do this negotiation without them. They do chunk of it because the fiscal regime is not our expertise. It's their own expertise. But like I said, as a ministry, we increased in mining activity. We had more scale mining licensing issue than ever before. We're going into large scale operation, and from all our minerals, from diamonds, now we have, like I said, 2 to 3 large scale. 1 is fully in operation. Maya will be coming up in full operation. There's another one in Tonga that also be coming up. When those ones come into full operation, it's going to change the story. For gold as well, we have one of the biggest that is going to come up, FG Gold. We issued their license about 2 years ago. They have been in preparation and everything. By next year, they'll be going into full production. And those ones will be paying royalties on export and everything. And those resources will come to the government. And in Kono as well, we've issued a large-scale mining license for gold, and they are preparing to come into full-scale operation. And even when we present our budget last Friday, we gave them a projection. We told them that in 2021, this is what we raised. It's there. This is what we are raising this year. The 4-6 months from January to now, this is what we have raised. It's in the budget. And we've projected that by 2025, 2026, what we've now given to you in figure will be doubled, depending on the effort and the things we'll put in place, the regulations, and what we're doing now. By the time everything comes into full operation, we are expecting to contribute more to
You said it should be doubled. How much, Mr. Minister?
So we are talking about we are saying that we're doing 23. You now you're saying that we'll do like 46. So you're doing like 40. We're saying that we'll do like 80, depending on all those are all projections anyway. But based on what we've done and the cooperation we're having, the kind of quietness we're trying to create within the industry, and the kind of enabling environment we are creating for the investors, we hope to attract more of them to come. And when they come, we believe that will bring more resources to the coffers, and it will help us to create more employment for our people.
You rightly mentioned it. I mean, the mining sector is a very integral one. So now, how does this initiative, address environmental concerns in diamond mining areas?
Okay, so like I said, before ever we issue these licenses, the applicant is required to do the environmental impact assessment. That's not our area of expertise. So the EIA people go and tell us this area they are mining will not have any environmental impact. If they tell us that to have environmental impact assessment, the license will not be issued. But aside of that, in our act as well, we have a provision for land reclamation. So for those large-scale miners, for those going into mining operation, for the large-scale mining where we have license, when you finish your mining, you're required by law to reclaim the land. Some of those pits you've dug, you're also required to cover them again so that the land will be accessible for people for other activities, agriculture. So particularly now, agriculture is our key agenda for Fitzgerald. But the difficulty we have is the unregulated aspect of that mining when it comes to diamond area. We have a lot of artisanal, alluvial, illegal mining. Many of them will go, this is our land, it belongs to us, in areas that are even not accessible by either our mines monitors, our mines regulators, way in the deep forest, and they'll start digging. Maybe they will dig for a week or two before you discover them. And when you go there, they are running away. You have some people who go and take machines and put them into rivers. They are not supposed to do it. Those are illegal miners. Those are not people that the ministry are issuing license to them. So we keep talking to the community. Now, what those people are doing will not only affect the country, it will affect you first. The benefit goes to them directly. Whatever little thing they have, whether in gold or diamond, they put it in their pocket. but the damage and the destruction is being caused to your community and the country as a whole. So we tell them, report to us. But if they don't report to us, they don't bring it to our attention, by the time we get there, the damage is already done. But aside of that as well, the ministry also in this last budget we submitted to the ministry, we proposed that for those ones, we have to have resources to ensure that we find the locations of those places and do some land reclamation. So whatever pit they've dug for them to do the activity, we'll go and fill it again and prepare that land for agricultural purposes. So we put that into our budget, and we hope the Ministry of Finance will approve that. So we'll go around to ensure that we do those land reclamation and restore the environment as well for those areas.
Mr. Minister, I recently had a chat with a seasoned, engineer who suggested that, it's time Sierra Leone moved towards, providing industrial electricity. He suggested that the mining sector is losing a lot, because most of the companies would require smelting and refining of these, resources that they are mining in Sierra Leone. But due to the fact that we cannot provide them with adequate electricity, that's exporting these things to other countries, how much are we losing because of the lack of industrial electricity in Sierra Leone?
Okay, thank you very much. That takes us to the concept of value addition. The issue about value addition has been the prime argument for African countries. I have attended several conferences in the diamond and other bulk mineral sector in which African countries are now shouting and crying for value addition. We're in Victoria Falls early this year in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in which we cried that we need to add value to our diamonds. But an illustration was made. We are in the hall, all of us, we are all ministers from diamond producing countries. And somebody was asking, how many of you do have rings here that are being made in diamonds? How many of you have gold chains or diamond? Nobody. Because we do the raw product and we don't add any value to it, they are being exported. And for us to do value addition, like you rightly said, we need a lot of energy. It's tied to energy. When you come to the precious mineral, for you to start polishing, cutting and polishing diamonds in Israel, you need the energy. For you to melt the gold from the raw gold into bars and some other thing, you need the energy. Talk less about the bulk minerals. For you to transform that iron into the very iron ore we use now, you need a lot of energy. Bauxite into aluminium, the same thing. So if we have the energy requirement, they will be able to push. But that notwithstanding, in recent times, most of our negotiation will be doing with those large-scale companies. We've been telling them that you have to phase out in stages. For example, in Europe, we told them that for the first couple of years, 3 to 4 years, we'll be doing. But then, going further beyond that, why not start adding some value, some processing? So Kinho recently, they installed a very huge plant, which was the investments around the tune of $500 million to see how best they can increase the production level from the current 3 million metric tons to almost about 12 million metric tons, and how best they can be able to add value, a little bit of it. But for us to transform to that stage of the finished product, which is where the actual benefit lies, that energy requirement will have to come. We're also happy that President Bio is taking energy as a key priority, so that if we have those energy requirements, we have the grid, and the mining companies come, they can connect to that grid. But for them to come, they are investing their money into the mining, and they also have to invest huge sums of money into energy. And all of them presently, that's what they do. For them to even go into production, they have to have an energy producing agreement with some other huge company for them to establish their own energy source. So that person was right. If we have that energy, we'll be able to add value to our produce. And if we add value to our minerals in this country, they'll have more royalties being paid on it. On the export also, we'll have more value being paid on it, and will benefit the people of this country. That's in process, and we are talking to them. And we are happy what is also happening within the energy sector, and we are doing a lot of collaboration to see that those energy needs in some of those mining companies are being met. When Kwedu Holdings, for example, be connected to the grill, the SLSG that passed through Kono, we got Kwedu connected, and they pay directly to them. They are willing. If we have the sources, they are willing to connect to it for them to go into their production. So energy is key to that, but we are still making a lot of effort as we are working together within the Ministry of Energy to see how best we can collaborate in that direction as well.
Quickly, before some messages from our Facebook page, let's look at the aspect of corporate responsibility. Is the ministry working in line with mining companies in order to ensure that they, do their needful, which is the corporate social responsibilities and obligations, and ensuring that they equally contribute to these communities that they operate in?
Yeah, definitely. We do encourage them to do their corporate social responsibility. As the word goes, corporate social responsibility, it comes with challenges as well. But a lot of those large scale mining company within the communities, they're also doing their own bit. But then sometimes it comes to the individual. Sometimes some group of people or an individual who want something specific, and if the company, and for them to do their corporate social responsibility, those mining company is business. I have to produce, I have to make profit, then I'm happy to give back to the community apart from all my taxes. They pay their taxes, that's not compromised. But when it comes to corporate social responsibility, that resources will have to be available. But definitely they do when it comes to community felt needs in some of the communities. Just 2 days ago, the community relations affairs guy, Mr. Momo at at New York was sending to me pictures of activities that the mining company is undertaking within the community. And sometimes the locals themselves, the chiefs and the other authorities, they come to me and say, this company is going. When we went around the last time to talk to people within certain community, they are telling, this company is doing well. Don't even this company is doing well, help them. They talk to us. That's the kind of relationship they do have. So we do encourage them, we do talk to them, and will not be receiving too much of any complaint from those large-scale mining companies regarding their corporate social responsibility. Most time, what we do receive, people do come and tell us, they're doing extremely well, they're working very well with our community, they are employing our people within the community, they are providing some of the needs we want within the community. But it goes again to the individual team. Maybe one day somebody will get up, want something specific, and goes there and they say, no, let's wait. And that person will go and say, no, this one. And you hear with the era of social media, one man will shout, see if he's representing 1 million people, and that would create a lot of issues.
Okay.
But we do work with the community. We do work with them to provide their corporate social
We'll definitely come back to you to read out the Facebook messages, and we'll definitely need your response to it. But let's go for a quick music break, and when we come back, we'll definitely be having sports. And let's have a song done by Famous, which titles One Life to Live.
Well, that's famous with One Life. Welcome back to the program. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone on the African Voices. Ansford McLean is all set for us this morning for sports. Good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Victor Jones, and good morning, Mario. Saying a guest of the viewers who've been following Wake Up Sierra Leone this morning. Straight off, I'll take you to what's happening for the national team Leone Stars of Sierra Leone as they've held their first training session yesterday evening at the SKD Stadium in Monrovia, Liberia. The team is fully focused and ready to take on their opponents, that's Chad, or in the upcoming 2025 AFCON qualification match slated for Friday, the 6th September 2024. Coach Amiru Karim's squad is comprised of 17 professional and 8 local-based players, total of 25 as they put together. The energy they've shown is high and the determination is stronger than ever. Currently, Sierra Leone is ranked 122 position and the opponents, that's Chad, on 178th place out of the 210 ranked member countries. Into international, finally, the Nigerian international Victor Osimhen has made a move to Istanbul side on loan to Turkey, in Turkey, club that's Galatasaray from Napoli in Italy. And agreement has been reached on a release clause for Victor Osimhen at Napoli ahead of the loan, which will worth £75 million in 2025. Osimhen had separately pushed for a move away from Napoli while the summer transfer window was open. It was linked with a move to a club like Chelsea and Saudi Arabia Pro League, that's Al Hilal. But soon after the deadline day, the striker was sidelined from Napoli's first team as Romelu Lukaku, former Chelsea striker, took his place and put on the number 9 shirt for Napoli. Galatasaray wanted a big name in their attacking after Mario Icardi suffered an injury. Well, the very best to the Nigerian striker, that's Victor Osimhen, the Sierra Leone national team Leone Stars, as they were up against Chad in the upcoming Nations Cup qualifiers for the place in Morocco 2025. That's all I have for sports at the moment. And over to you, Victor Jones and Examinatinaion in studio.
Thank you very much indeed, Ransford McLean. It was a pleasure seeing you as usual. Well, continuing with the program, still have with us the Deputy Minister of Mines, Umaru Napoleon Koroma. Of course, you've been sending your messages. We'll now read some of them and allow the Minister to comment on some of the questions you've asked on our Facebook page.
To start with, Yakuba Jalo says, Mr. Minister, the people of Zambia, I hope I got that correct, are not benefiting the amounts that they deserve to benefit in that chiefdom.
Illicit mining ongoing.
Sambaya.
Oh,
thank you.
Is saying illicit mining is still ongoing. What have you done to stop it, Mr. Minister?
And Osfriend Kamara said gross household income versus consumer price index.
Okay, the same Osfriend is saying, Mr. Minister, there used to be an Israeli company doing a rock cutting and export business around the Mount Oriel axis and the encampments. Are they still doing the rock cutting exports? Thanks.
And Eddie Grant is saying, Mr. Minister, how far has your government gone with the diamond cutting and polishing project? It is promised this country during the first term. It was promised to this country during the first term of office.
Sir Koniga Mustafa Kokuwai is saying, Mr. Minister, is there plans to renew the licenses with Koidu Limited in Kono?
And Osfriend again says, on the recent lithium deposits in the northwest region, reflecting on the present value of lithium as a rare earth metal used in the manufacturing electric vehicles batteries.
The same Kokowai is saying, Mr. Minister, with alluvial, do not we do not lose community towns in the case of underground mining. We have lost more than 5 towns or communities in Tankoro Chiefdom in Kono. Do you think the small handouts the government is giving to Kono is equivalent to losing these communities?
And Eddie Grant again is saying illicit mining is still ongoing. What have you done to stop it, Mr. Minister?
Sir Koninga Mustafa Kokowai, again, Mr. Minister, to be fair to the residents in Kono, why not increase that 1% to 5% to make up for the destruction of our farmlands, communities, and towns?
And Sai again says, Mr. Minister, is there plans to renew the license with Koidu Limited in Kono?
Mos D is saying, Mr. Minister, does the Sierra Leone government have any shares in these big mining companies? And if yes, what is the percentage? If not, why not? Also, why is that these mining areas have not been benefiting from these precious resources? You go to places like Tongo in the Kenema district. You mentioned earlier Yomadu and the entire Kono district, Tonkolili, Potnoko district, and so on. All of these places mentioned lack proper facilities, and there you can also find the poorest of the poor. Finally, it seems Sierra Leone has just been exploited, and the citizens have yet to see real benefit from these precious resources.
I'll take a few more messages. Mr. Minister, this is from Saigate. Mr. Minister, with alluvial mining, we do not lose communities or towns. In the case of underground mining, we have lost more than 5 towns or communities in Tankoro Chiefdom in Kono. Do you think the smaller handouts the government is giving to Kono is equivalent to losing these communities?
Sir Koninga, Mr. Minister, the CDA funds are very small for any meaningful development, especially in Kono, where we continue to lose our communities and lands.
And Junior Showers is responding to a comment, but I think it also has a point that he's trying to pass on. It says, Eddie Grant, my brother, the question should be illicit mining in our country has been ongoing since diamond was discovered in our country. What we should do to curb it. Mind you, each and every citizen of any nation must participate in building that country. The minister is just the head of an institution, and he alone cannot do anything to stop illicit mining. You, me, and others must partake, notifying the appropriate authorities when we see our neighbors doing the wrong thing will help.
The last one is from Kokowai, and he's saying, is there plans to renew the licenses with Koidu Limited after their contract expire in 2030?
I think those are all the messages.
A lot of messages, actually.
The questions are so many that I almost lost track of some of them, and some are very more repeated. I think there's a particular question of Koidu Holdings repeated severally. All right. So, I will come to the issue of Koidu Holdings. Koidu Holdings did not start today. It did not start with the government of President Julius Maada. They were there since 2000. They've been there for a very long time. In fact, in 2008 or 9 or there, so when there were some issues in Kono under the then administration of Ernest Koroma, they were shut down for a while. It was the community people. When the company was shut down and closed, the community people started lobbying to the government to say, with the closure of this company, our people are suffering. Let this company start operating again so that our people can have employment, they will have benefits, etc., etc. So it was after that the company, was started operating again. They have a long-term concession, it's a 25 years period of concession they are doing, and they are mining their concession. When they are done with that mining operation, there'll have to be a whole separate agreement with the government of Australia, whether if they want to continue or whether the government want to continue with them. The issue about that person talking about 5 towns in Tankoro, who received, the last time we received a lot of complaints, people came in terms of saying that they've undermined the whole of Koidu town, they're destroying this, etc., etc. So the ministry was alerted. The minister directed the NMA, local government, press houses, civil society, and everybody. They went to Kono, they went on the ground, they looked at the operations, There was no evidence of what was alleged. Nothing. And the report came out. It was the very civil society we are joining some of those, re-echoing some of those voices. They went there and they showed them. When it came out, they brought out a report and said, no, what has been said, or if it was put on social media, somebody who did a video and said that Kono will collapse the next day, Kono is sinking and everything. So we are alerted by that. When we went there, what they were seeing on social media and what they were reporting, like that person is talking about 5 townships, there was no evidence of that. I just came back from Kono yesterday. There was no evidence of that, about any township being people losing townships, etc., etc. So they put out that report. Even after I received that report, another group of people came and said they are not still satisfied. Something is happening. I said, okay, we'll come there again as many times as you want us. But that's what it is. You talk to the paramount chiefs. We are in Dubai in April. I'm sorry, April. We went for the Kimberley Diamond processing conference, and some civil society organization from Kono, we are making a statement on a public forum, quite different from what the paramount chief of Tankoro, the paramount chief of Tankoro, who lives in Tankoro or who's lived there all his life, or who's the paramount chief, was saying completely something different from what he was saying.
Okay.
So when they bring these complaints, we look into them, you go there, you investigate, and you don't have any evidence. Like I said, it boils down to some of the individuals as against the collective. So if one person feels that maybe I want something specifically from there, I've not gotten it, he becomes aggrieved, he moves his own, takes his own action. Right. But when you go there, and the next visit you are visiting again, we'll be visiting one of the operations maybe Friday, I will ask my team to invite your people from the AYV as well, so that you go there and see yourself. Some of those pieces of information, when you get there, you can do your own investigation and come up with it and put it out on social, on national television for people to see. On social media, which is unregulated, you don't even know the people who are running some of those media. They bring some of this, but that's why, as far as Kono is concerned. On the issue of Sambaya,
briefly.
Oh, sorry. Sambaya happens to be one of the chiefdoms that is benefiting from New Rock. That's the Community Development Fund. The monies, like I said, the last check that was issued is being put into that fund, but they have to do development project within those chiefdoms, and the funds will be released for that.
Okay.
But as I speak to you, if you speak to the majority of the people of Sambaya, their voices and position are quite different from the voices of that person. So the ministry is doing everything we can to curb illicit mining, as the person said. But like the last person who sent the message, it's not only the ministry alone on me sitting here. It's a
totally
collective
agree.
effort. We have to do it as a nation and in the interest of our
Okay,
country.
thank you so very much, Deputy Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Umar Napoleon Krumah, for your time spent here with us this morning. And we'll definitely ensure that, we visit some of those places to have a balanced and factual news with regards. That's over to you.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll say goodbye for today. It's been quite interactive and educative this morning. We say thanks to our sponsor, Local Commercial Bank, and for their support to this program, and our valued audiences across the world. We appreciate and cherish your time. I am Victor Jones.
And of course, I'm Marina Terry, and continue to stay tuned to AYV throughout the day as we have other exciting programs coming up. Till we meet for another interesting edition of Wake Up Sierra Leone. Take care of yourself and be safe.